Welcome to Kingdom Treasures. In a world filled with uncertainty and turmoil, many turn to ancient prophecies for guidance and understanding. Today, we delve into one of the most enigmatic and controversial books of the Bible, the Book of Revelation. This apocalyptic text has captivated readers for centuries with its vivid imagery and prophetic visions, offering a glimpse into the future and the ultimate destiny of humanity. As we explore these terrifying prophecies, we'll uncover their relevance to our modern world and examine how they might shed light on current events and the end times. But before we begin, let's set the stage for our journey through this complex and often misunderstood biblical text. Here at Kingdom Treasures, our goal is to help you grow in your understanding of Scripture and its application to our lives today. We believe that by examining these prophecies with a balanced approach, we can gain valuable insights into God's plan for humanity and our role in it. The Book of Revelation, also known as the Apocalypse of John, was written by John the Apostle during his exile on the island of Patmos in the late 1st century A.D. This visionary text is rich with symbolism and allegorical language, making it both fascinating and challenging to interpret. It's important to note that while Revelation contains prophecies about future events, its primary purpose was to offer hope and encouragement to early Christians facing persecution. With this context in mind, let's explore some of the most terrifying prophecies found within its pages. Among the most iconic images in Revelation are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. These mysterious riders, each mounted on a horse of a different color, symbolize various calamities that will befall the earth in the end times. Let's examine each horseman and consider how they might relate to our world today. The first horseman rides a white horse, carrying a bow and wearing a crown. This figure is often interpreted as representing military conquest or the spread of false ideologies. In our modern context, we might see parallels in the rise of global superpowers and the ongoing geopolitical tensions that threaten world peace. Following closely behind is the rider on the red horse, wielding a great sword. This horseman symbolizes violence and bloodshed, with the power to take peace from the earth. In our time, we witness this prophecy unfolding through ongoing conflicts, civil unrest, and the rise of extremist ideologies. From terrorist attacks to civil wars, the Red Horseman's influence is evident in the cycles of violence that plague our world. The proliferation of weapons and the ease with which conflicts can escalate remind us of the fragility of peace in our modern era. The third horseman rides a black horse, carrying a pair of scales. This rider represents famine and economic hardship, with the scales symbolizing the scarcity and inflated prices of basic necessities. In today's world, we see this prophecy reflected in global economic crises, income inequality, and food insecurity. As climate change threatens agricultural productivity and economic systems become increasingly unstable, the specter of widespread famine and financial collapse looms large. The Black Horseman's influence can be seen in the growing divide between the wealthy and the poor, and the struggles of millions to meet their basic needs. The final and most terrifying horseman rides a pale or greenish horse, representing death and the grave. This rider, accompanied by Hades, has power over a fourth of the earth to kill by sword, famine, plague, and wild beasts. In our time, we might see this prophecy fulfilled through global pandemics, natural disasters, and the ongoing threat of mass extinction events. From the COVID-19 pandemic to the increasing frequency and severity of natural disasters, the Pale Horseman's influence reminds us of our mortality and the fragility of life on Earth. As we move deeper into the prophecies of Revelation, we encounter the concept of the Great Tribulation, a period of intense suffering and hardship that will precede the return of Christ. This prophecy is not unique to Revelation, but is also mentioned by Jesus in the Gospels. In Matthew 24:21-22, Jesus warns his disciples, "For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been from the beginning of the world until now, no, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved." but for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. The Great Tribulation is described as a period of intense suffering that will affect all of humanity. It will be characterized by natural disasters, wars, famines, and persecution of believers. The global nature of this event suggests that no one will be untouched by its effects. In our modern context, we might see shadows of this prophecy in the interconnected nature of our global society. A crisis in one part of the world can quickly ripple out to affect the entire planet, as we've seen with recent pandemics and economic upheavals. While the prospect of the Great Tribulation is undoubtedly frightening, it's important to remember that this prophecy also contains a message of hope. For believers, it serves as a reminder to remain faithful in the face of adversity, and to trust in God's ultimate plan for redemption. The promise that these days will be cut short for the sake of the elect offers comfort and assurance that God will not abandon His people in their time of greatest need. As we face trials and hardships in our own lives, we can draw strength from this promise of divine protection and deliverance. As we delve deeper into the prophecies of Revelation, we encounter one of the most terrifying series of events: the pouring out of the 7 bowls of God's wrath. These judgments represent the final outpouring of God's judgment on a sinful world, and their descriptions are both vivid and disturbing. The first 4 bowls of God's wrath are poured out on the earth, sea, freshwater sources, and the sun. These judgments result in devastating ecological disasters. Painful sores afflict those who bear the mark of the beast. In our modern context, we might see echoes of these prophecies in the growing environmental crises facing our planet. From pollution and toxic waste to climate change and the acidification of our oceans, the Earth's ecosystems are under unprecedented strain. The 5th bowl brings complete darkness over the kingdom of the beast, causing great pain and anguish. This could be interpreted as a breakdown of societal structures and systems, plunging the world into chaos. Remember, just as Ezekiel was called to prophesy to the dry bones, you too have the power to speak life into seemingly hopeless situations. As Philippians 4:13 inspires, "I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." Trust in God's restorative power, and watch as He breathes new life into the valleys of your world. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. How has the message of Ezekiel and the dry bones impacted you? Share in the comments below, and let's encourage one another with stories of hope and restoration. Until next time, may you walk in the confidence that with God, new life is always possible.